Hello everybody. In this tutorial we're gonna explore how to process the vectors that maybe we have imported from the different software like SolidWorks or Illustrator, or maybe we have created using edit vectors here, and then we want to process them. The most thing that we're going to use is going to be the open join vectors. Now the question could be that why we have to use the or why do we have to join the vectors? As you can see, all vectors are separate here. I'm going to show you why we should join the vectors. So I'm just going to make a quick profile here. It's outside. I'm just not worried about that. And let's see what it does. If we give it a little time here, we can see. As we can see here, things doesn't look right. There's something wrong here. And we're gonna just double check what it is wrong once the preview is finished. Alright, so let's go here. As you can see, this red dotted line is the original vector that I made, because it's constant going all the way through. But this little right line here with those two little green boxes, that's the one that shows where my cutting bed is going to travel. It's going to travel inside or outside. We did select everything outside, but still it is doing it inside. So here is a little tricky part that PartWorks, until and unless the profile that we are trying to machine or trying to prepare toolpath from, if it's not closed, then it's gonna be confused what's inside or what's outside. So it's always advisable to do to join the vectors. Now I'm just gonna give a quick demo. I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna say hit join, and now it's joined. As you can see here, by clicking, it's one, and just going all over. As you can see now, everything seems okay. Even if you turn the visibility on, you can see it's outside all over, and it has only one join point here. Altogether, joining a vector is a very important task here. Now the little crazy part here is, like, once you join the vector, you cannot unjoin them. So I'm just gonna keep going and see if I can go back to it. By pressing Ctrl Z, you can go back, and now, as you can see, it's unjoined now. You can select each little part separately. There's one more thing that people get confused here between joining the vector and between grouping the vectors. Say, for example, I want to select all of this together and make sure that whenever I click on them, they always has been selected together, so that I don't have to, pick each one of these separately, or each one of the circles separately. So in that case, what we can do is select all of them by crossing the square and press a group selector vectors. As you can see here, it's selected. If I click on that, you can see that it's been selected, all have been selected. But the thing that people get confused here again is this is the group vector, it's not yet the join vector. So if you try to prepare a profile path using this, it's always gonna develop a little faulty toolpath. I'll just show you real quick here. I say that ignoring unsuitable vectors, selection contains 52 open vectors, 0 duplicate vectors, and 6 vectors remaining. So it's gonna prepare a toolpath for only 6 vectors. And if we see here what it has done, it has prepared the toolpath for only this circles that's in the center, but nothing more than that. It did not prepare any toolpath outside. As we can see, that's a little defect here, and if you're facing the same problem, the solution to it is that you make sure you select both the vectors and you just click the button that's next to the group, which is ungroup vectors. And then now what you can do is you can select all these vectors and make sure they're joined. Use this join. It will show here closed 3 vectors, which are these 3 circles. Open 26 means all these parts together are 26. Vectors after joining, closed will be 4 and open will be 0. So there'll be no vectors will be open anymore after I join this. This tolerance is here. Sometimes you hit join, but it will still not be joined. So you may want to decrease this from 0.0004 to something like 0.05 or 0.005 or whatever makes it. But make sure if the number is too high, it's gonna, you know, scale down your shape or your object. So make sure that you don't choose number that's very crazy. Yeah, as we can see, it's joined, and now if we prepare a toolpath for that, I'm just gonna, sorry, so calculate it again, so reset, and as we can see it now, it did make a toolpath that's perfect. So far we have gone through joining the vector, we have gone through grouping and ungrouping. Next is going to be how we can copy paste. So say for example you have one object here and you want to copy this and paste it somewhere else on the board. So here's a copy button here, and here is a cut button here, and here is a paste button here. The keyboard shortcuts for Windows is going to be Control C for copy and Control V for paste. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to select all of them, and I'm going to hit Control C, just copy. I'm not going to do anything, I'm not going to move it anywhere, just going to paste right there, Control V. By doing that, it pastes the shadow vector exactly at the same place, but now using the arrow keys on the keyboard, left, right, up and down, I can actually move the vectors. As you can see on the screen, it's moving, and I can rearrange them the way I really want. Again, if I want to make number of copies, this vectors are selected right now. I'm going to Control C, I'm going to Control V again, and then again I'm going to use arrow keys to move around. So that's how you can keep working, keep copying those vectors. Now say for example we have these all vectors here, but I want to scale them or I want to rotate them. So in that case, all you need to do, make sure that the vectors are selected. Then you can go to Move, Scale, Rotate Selection button in the Edit Vectors, or else you can see right here. Or else what you can do is you can just select all of them and just click somewhere on one of the vector. Now once you are on the center, you will see this little 4 arrow which will help you to move it around. This arrow here is gonna scale it down bigger and smaller, and this little circular arrow is gonna help you to rotate it. Now in this case, rotation is, there is no snap on the rotation. What if you want to rotate at a particular angle? So for that, there's a tool here called Rotate Selected Vectors. You hit on that, you pick from where you want to rotate, what anchor. I usually use center, and then I put like 30 degree. I do apply, it's gonna rotate to 30 degree, or maybe minus 60 degree, it's gonna rotate that way. And once that's done, you can start joining the vectors and you can start preparing the toolpath. Here was so far how you copy, paste, scale, or rotate. Now we're gonna take a look at the offset, mirror, and arc. So if you can see here, here's the offset button, here is a mirror button, and here is an array button. I want to mirror this, all three. I'm going to select this, and I'm going to do right, I'm going to do left, I'm going to do top, or I'm going to do bottom. We can see that the vectors are moving up and down, but it's done a copying. So for that, you need to check this box here and say create a mirror copy, and then you can do right, you can do left, you can do top, and you can do bottom. Every time it's going to develop vectors, and once you have selected those vectors, you can also use flip vertical or flip horizontal. Vertical did not make a, sorry, horizontal did not make a big change, but as you can see, it's a P here and P here, it's a P here, and it's a B here. It's been mirrored. So that's the way you can use some mirror command here. Now we're going to take a look at the array command. Now people who have used AutoCAD, who are familiar with AutoCAD or SolidWorks or any other software application that has dissolve tools, I'm sure it's not going to be a big deal for them to understand and learn this. Now I have one line here and I want to offset it at a certain distance. I can decide it's outwards or inwards, and I can do, say for example, I'm picking this is outward and that is inward, and that's the way it does the offset. Uh, so far we have seen the mirror, we have seen the offset, and now we're going to take a look at array command. You can use this, you can use a circular array, or you can use a rectangle array. You specify the numbers here that you want to really array, and then just say copy, and I'm sure it's going to do it for you. Did it do for me? Oh yeah, it did. It was, you can see it's out of my drawing here, but you can select a smaller 360 by doing it. Rotation center 36 by 24. I'm gonna do it at 3 by 4, and then I'm gonna delete them, and once it is here I'm gonna do 360 again, and that's how it does a little smaller. So you have to change dimensions here in order to make it smaller or bigger. Now that was the array command. Now say for example you already have some lines and you know they're not connected to each other and you want to join. So there are two lines here, as you can see they are at a distance. This software does not have like an extraordinary snapping, but it has a snapping that's gonna help you at some point. So as you can see here, I'm zooming in all the way, and the moment you hover over, you see this little box there. That's a snapping command. You click there and then you wait here again, you zoom in and then hit it there. And that's how you use the snap tool using PartWorks, if in case you have to connect your two different vectors. Now we're going to take a look at the node editing. What is node editing? Well, as you can see a little button here, node editing. Once you click on the vector and you hit the node editing, you can see all nodes like splines and Bezier curve attachments, and you can change the curvature from here exactly the way you do in Photoshop or Illustrator or any other software. Here, this green little box is a tricky part. It's a start point. In some cases you will require to change the start point, like instead of doing a start point here you may want to do it here. In that case, what you need to do is select this box here and you right click here and you see that make start point, or maybe you can hit the P on the keyboard and it's going to make it a start point. So you can see now the green has become black, it's an end point, and this green is a start point. In this case we need this guy to be a start point. I'll show you later why. That's how you do the node editing and you change the start points if in case you need to change it. Now there's one more wonderful tool to learn here. Say for example this is a circle and you want to copy that along the star the way I have done it here. So you're not gonna like using Control-C and Control-V and make a copy all around. There's a nice little button here, as you can see, copy object along the vectors. Both are vectors, so I would say copy vector along the vectors. So all you need to do is hit that button. So I'm going to select this first, and then I'm going to, holding the shift button, I'm going to select this. I'm going to say what should be the distance between two copies. So for example, I need 0.5 here, and I'm going to uncheck this unless you want to run a new layer. I'm going to copy this. So what it does here, as you can see on the screen, it's copying along the star toolpath for me. That's a wonderful tool, right? So I don't have to copy a lot of things. So it's a wonderful tool. It's right here, as you can see, copy object along the vectors. That's the name of the button when you hover over your mouse there. The last but not the least, as you can see here, I have typed some San Francisco State University text here. Now if you want to type some text here, all you need to do is go here on the create vector, draw text, and then you can start typing in here. You can select the fonts that you want from here. You can select the text height from here, and then you can say apply. So it's going to develop a text for you. Then you can further prepare a toolpath for text if you need to. So that's how you prepare text. Alright, that's pretty much I guess for this tutorial. Thank you for watching.